Hello, everyone. We are once again live, and we are opening this space to if anyone have any question or if you want to talk about something. I actually don't have anything planned for this live stream. I just want to see how things flow. So if there aren't anyone yet, I might just wait a little bit and see when people have some questions. Oh, I think some people are coming in now. So, hello. Yeah, so hello everyone. Now I can see some people texting. Can you talk about entities attached to people? Yes, we can talk about that. Just to summarize, today we are here. I'm just opening this space so we can have a chat. It's not like I want to share something. Maybe I can share something that you can ask about. But the overall idea is to just open this space and be present. And I just hope that everyone who hops in, and even if it's 1 minute or 2 minutes, you can get something, can get some energy and just help on your daily routine. So hello, Ona et. Hello from Romania. So I think we can start with the first question to talk about entities attached to people. So everything I'm going to share about entities, or everything I know, is most of the things that I've heard about, or I've read about, or I studied, or I made some connections. But I would say I have very few experiences with spirits or entities, different from some people who can really see. But basically, entities or spirits or anything in this universe is based on vibrations. And from what I understand is that humans can change vibrations, like from really low vibrations to very high vibrations, while entities that are not embodied in the human body have a harder time. Not that they cannot, but it's harder for them. And usually what happens is that when you are in a, let's say, astral world, you are much more sensible than the physical world. So you're a lot more sensible to your environment, to the energies around you. Even when you go into deeper meditative states and you get more connected to your energy, you will become more sensitive to energy. So being more sensitive to energy, you can only go to places that you feel comfortable, right? That resonates with your energy. So in this sense, attached entities are people or are entities that are close to what they resonate with. But the thing about it is that if you change your vibration, they cannot be with you any longer. So a lot of people are afraid of attached entities and might even be afraid of spirits or ghosts. But we are the ones who can actually change our vibration. They cannot change like to match ours. For example, if we go higher, they might be able to, but they will have a harder time. And if you raise our vibration, then just like when we have lower vibration, we attract negative entities. When we raise our vibrations, we get a lot of help as well. There are a lot of spirits who wants to help us, wants to help you, but they cannot get close to you. So when you meditate, it's like, oh, for them, it's like, oh, there he's meditating, he's in the right vibration, I can help him now. So that's one of the important reasons why meditation is so important. I'm sweating because it's a little bit hot now in Brazil. So let's go to some other questions. Do you know something about 1111? I don't know in details. but I would like today. I know that it's Ekadash. It's a good day to do some how do you say in English? I forgot. To do some fasting, uh, and there is a reason, but I think it's based on the lunar calendar, and this year it was today. So today it's a good day to fast and to eat healthy. You might get a lot of energy, a lot of recharge, and if you want, you can search research about Ekadash. Ona at how can we get rid of them? So it is just by changing your vibration, you can actually make it harder for them to get closer to you. But I would say that if the entity is persistent, even if you change, he might try to get closer. But if you can consistently keep your vibration higher, he will have a harder time to be with you and eventually go away if you stay on that level. So working on yourself, meditating, actually, it's a very good way to raise your vibration and attract other kinds of energy. So, Sarita, hello. Hello, Sarita. Uh, can you tell something about 21st December 2020? So, I don't know much about secret dates or about astrology, I would say. So, I would rather not comment on that because I don't have that knowledge. I might be saying something that is not correct. So yes, but if you want to know about dates, you can look for astrology, especially Vedic astrology, and then you might start to understand the specific dates. And from my perspective, I believe that the only reason why specific dates have specific powers is because of the planet formation on that day. Because if you think in a scientific way, it like imagine a lot of magnets and you're changing its position. So depending on how you put these magnets, the force in the central part or in some specific area, which is Earth, will be different. So there is a possibility that on specific formations, it might help you get a lot of energy or not. So I believe that the dates are important because of specific planet positions. So having knowledge about that might help you understand which date is specific is good or bad, or what are the effects from each day. Yes, from your intuition point of view. So yes, from my shallow knowledge or experience that I have, I would say that yes, you should always look on planet positions to see how the energy might be on that specific date or not. So yeah, if anyone have any more questions, or if you guys want, later we can do some meditation together. I'm just here to be with you guys and yes, and chat. What do I know about 369? I have a very shallow knowledge about that as well, about numerology, but I know that 369 is very interesting because it repeats itself. There's a lot of property to these numbers. And I think it's very famous because Nikola Tesla also talked about this 369. And what I know is that there are certain thresholds on frequencies or vibrations that specifically changes, that have a big change. And maybe 369 might be some key to understand these patterns to know how to optimize from each frequency where you are. So this 369 might be to identify like these thresholds, these turning points where there's optimal energy or efficiency and things like that. But that's just my guess. I have looked into it, but not deeply, mostly from documents that most people can find. How about 3 days without sun? When do you think will happen? I don't know. The 3 days without sun. I heard about that, but I don't know much. Yes, 369 are Tesla numbers. I wouldn't say are Tesla numbers. It got famous because of Tesla, but the numbers have always been there, right? And Tesla only discovered it. And yes, I believe there are a lot of things that we don't have any idea. I don't know if it's okay for you guys, but sometimes I just feel it's comfortable to be in silence, even though we are in a live stream, to feel the energy, to feel the space. Yeah. Can you talk about people seeing orb and flashlights and things coming out from nowhere? Okay, so seeing orb and flashlights usually are signs that of your pineal gland activation. Of course, if there's no light, right, so that is stimulating your eye, let's say you're in complete darkness and you still see them, then it means it's your pineal gland. But sometimes there might be a light when you're meditating. Someone turns on the light on you. So in that case, it's not any kind of spiritual experience. But if you're in a dark place, no nobody's going to disturb you. If you see lights and orbs, that's a sign that your pineal gland might be activating. Think about it. Vaporize, control, fear, and power. Freaks, word peace. Vaporize, control, fear, and power. So yes, today I also feel that there's a lot of control through fear and through power. And I also believe that Earth have enough, it's rich enough to every single being in here. And there are ways that we could share or distribute this richness from Earth that we all get for free in some way, to really make to really create a human civilization that I wouldn't say that has world peace, but it is aware and it's working together with Earth's ecosystem. It's not about thing being good or bad, because we're always evolving and we are always changing. So I think it's more about if you are in sync with the Earth ecosystem, with rivers, with animals, with water. And if our civilization, even if it does bad things, it's always learning and and always aware that we cannot survive by ourselves, or maybe we could, but it would make everything a lot harder. So yes, that would be my point of view of peace. It wouldn't be like something like no fight or nothing, but a coexistence and a co-awareness how everything is actually connected. So Shazam, you make me all puffy down here. Okay, do you know something about the photon belt? No, never heard about it. I'm going to make some research. Some nice things about doing live streams or having some videos is that a lot of people ask questions that I don't know about, and I get to learn a lot about that. Actually, that's how I discovered about Darkness Retreat. Someone commented, and I researched about it, and I loved it, and I went there. So thank you for sharing. I will research about photon belts. I'm actually going to take a note here. So I prefer people with whom silence is something pleasant. I think to be able to be in silence is to also acknowledge how your heart is interpreting the situation. A lot of times I see myself being in silence after understanding things mentally and trying to feel things from my heart perspective. And I feel these silent moments are very powerful. So I really recommend, like, when you have someone, you're talking, and sometimes you just breathe in and breathe out, and you're in silence, but you're there, and yeah. You guys might be thinking, oh, this guy is completely crazy now. Yes. So recently I realized that the opposite of fear is not courage. Same goes with the opposite of life is not death, but birth. Life has no polarity at all. That is interesting. The idea of polarity is that some things only gets meaning when you bring that polarity. For example, imagine if from small and big, imagine if only the big word existed. You wouldn't understand what that means, right? Because to know what is big, you have to compare things, right? Like to say I am big, probably you're comparing to a spoon or something smaller than me. Or to say that I am not big, probably you're comparing me with something that is bigger than me. So to big exist, comparison needs to be there, right? Or to good or bad, right? Or to life exist. The meaning of life exists. There needs to be something that you compare to that gives lives a perspective. So the way we understand things is in a polarity way. So if there is meaning for or there is a interpretation for any word, it means that we are already creating duality. Yeah. You have said something about 49 days in the darkness. Yes. Last year I had the privilege and the blessing to be in a darkness retreat for 7 weeks, which is 49 days. And I would say that I know that it have changed me, but I'm sure it have changed me much more than what I noticed that changed. So if anyone have the opportunity, I definitely recommend. I mean, that is just the polarity of birth mixed it up. Yes, death and birth is like when you talk about one concept, the other concept already exists, just like a shadow. Yeah, I brought up it because it could help people overcome fear if they realize it is not just degree of same thing, Life is all there it is. Yes, there is a. I don't know if I can share my screen, but there is. No, I cannot. But there is a consciousness map. I forgot the author name, but he created a map where you can say your consciousness level based on at least your current consciousness state based on your emotions. And if you see from fear, I think it's very close to anger and some other emotions. And if you look at the chart and you observe your emotional roller coaster, you will notice that from fear you always go to anger or the other emotion that is lower there. You if you want to go to happiness, like which is a lot higher, you go through these emotional changes, and it's very interesting to observe because and as you have a map on your emotion and your consciousness state, you also become more confident knowing that, okay, fear is just my state now. It's just the vibration that I am in, and it's possible to change, right? And I think a lot of people fear because they they don't believe or they cannot see the places that is possible to go with our minds and our hearts. So I will find it and I will post on on the community on the YouTube posts, so you guys can check it out. Let me see if I can find now and actually post here. Consciousness map. Yeah. So I found a picture. And here. Oh. Yeah, this one is. So if you see that map, you will see that there are degrees of consciousness and degrees of and emotions, and you can see that usually fear is close to desire, grief, and anger. And yeah, and seeing that you know, okay, now I can raise my vibration, or I know that I am feeling anger because I am very close to fear. What is making me fear, right? And yeah, it's a very helpful map. How can you truly overcome a food addiction? A food addiction. It is. So how did my food habits change? I think by sharing that you might get some insight. I cannot say for sure how you can get overcome a food addiction because I think it's different from everyone. But for me, going to spiritual retreats and going to doing some meditation practice, not only where I am in, but going to places where I stay 3 to 4 or 5 days, really helped me observe how I'm not as addicted as I thought. Sometimes it's the environment, sometimes it's the vibration where I am in that actually makes me want to eat some things that I don't actually I would like to stop eating. And there is a story, I love this story. There's a story from Yogananda where there was this guy who came to him and said that this story is in the documentary from Netflix. He told Yogananda, in church they tell me I cannot gamble, I cannot have a lot of sex, I cannot eat too much, I cannot do so many things. And right now I love sex, I love alcohol, I love cigarettes, I love gambling, I love everything that the church says that I shouldn't be doing. And in this sense, can I practice what you are sharing? Because you are sharing things for people to be enlightened and for people to become pure. And do I have a place in this, like, even though I do all these things? And then Yogananda asked him actually, do you love all these things? Do you love, gambling? Do you really love sex? Do you really love drinking and smoking? And he says, yes, I really love. And then Yogananda said, then I recommend you to not come, because I cannot assure you that if you start practicing, you will lose the interest on that. So the idea is that it's not that we shouldn't be doing this or that. These things that we do or not do happens naturally as we change our vibration, as we change our state. So for me, I never try to control my food unless I was okay. I'm going to do this sadhana, this practice for a certain time. And looking back now, I can tell that my food addiction, I would say, in some parts, have changed because of my practice, not because I was focusing on trying to change that. It was a natural change. Yes, Rika, I'm going to look for your question. Hi, Danilo, I have a question. I have been doing a lot of meditation, thinking positive, yet I feel certain negative patterns keep repeating. Why is that? Thank you. So, negative patterns. So a lot of things that are happening today with us. Basically, it is not what is happening to you right now. It is very little because of the things that you've done now, and a lot more because of the things that you have done. So let's say that I start practicing meditation now, right? But I had some bad habits for 10 years, right? And even though I start practice meditation, these habits are still like the action or the consequences of these actions are still arriving. So even though I'm practicing meditations, bad patterns can keep coming. But if you keep meditating, even though you experience good positive things and negative things, if you are resilient in your practice and just keep practicing, someday that would be cleaned, right? Like the bad things that you've done, there will be no more. And I think that when we get there, it might be enlightenment. We don't have to be reborn anymore. I'm not sure, because I'm still also experiencing a lot of my past karma, or my past actions consequences. But in the path of meditations, if you understand that either good karma or bad karma, they are just results of past actions, and that shouldn't be the reason why you meditate or why you don't. And you meditate independent of whatever you're experiencing. You might start to clean more of that, and eventually you might not have any negative pattern anymore on you, and then you can be considered a saint. Because I still have a lot of negative patterns as well. How can I receive guidance from universe while taking a decision? So there are a few techniques that you could use to receive guidance. For example, visualizing someone you really respect, or visualizing an entity that you can talk to. So you can create ways inside your mind to interact with this collective consciousness or the universe. And you can make an animal that talks. You can create a dragon, and creating something for your mind to interact is just one way. I believe there are many ways to download information from the universe, such as also asking on your dreams. There are so many ways. Yeah. Without bad, there's good. Without awareness, there is no cosmos. A blank page is all there is, and naming it page is giving entity to it. How can we visualize the blank within human word yin yang? How can we visualize the blank within the human word yin yang? To the moment you're visualizing something, there's already two, right? There is you and there is the thing that you're visualizing. But the you is on the page, right? So I would say it is better to say, how is it to not visualize anything, right? And when you're not visualizing anything, when you're not seeing anything, or trying to see or interpreting anything, might that not be a glimpse of this blank? Thank you, Danilo. One can receive guidance in by fasting from the world. Yes, yes. We talked about in the beginning about energies, about entities and vibrations. There are a lot of entities, and the universe itself is trying to help, but a lot of times they cannot get close to you. Sometimes because of your own vibrations, and sometimes because of the environment vibration. But when you meditate, when you go to holy places, when you do sadhana or practices to clean up, for them is like an opportunity, like, okay, now the gate is open, we can go help him. So whenever you're meditating, or whenever actually you're doing practices, you're actually already getting a lot of help. And I think that it is not about learning how to get help or not. It's about noticing what the things that come are help and what the things are from you. Because a lot of times I notice that the helps come as a thought, and sometimes I think it's my thought, but I know most of the time that they are not. Like if I observe, I see that I wouldn't have that kind of thought, that's too like that's too high level for me, right? So I would say that instead of how we ask how we can receive help from the universe, it's better, okay, how can we perceive the helps that we are already receiving from the universe? Because there are a lot, and as you perceive, you might notice how to get more as well. What do you think about aliens? I hope we. Yeah, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I hope I meet one. I don't know. Why turn asexual? That is zero sexual urge. Not okay for the world. I find peace in that. Getting to a place of I wouldn't say zero sexual urge, because zero sexual urge is you don't want to have zero sexual energy. You want to have a balanced sexual energy. If you have zero energy, that is bad, because you don't have energy. But you have a balanced energy, which results in not having urge, then you can help so many people, then you can do so many things. So I wouldn't say that we should go to zero urge by suppressing or releasing or wasting all our energy, but I would say that we should go to that place from where we have a lot of energy, but our energy is still balanced. Arjita, thanks Danilo, thanks a lot. If everyone turns asexual, who will create children? Yeah, I think that there is nothing in this world that everyone should follow or everyone should not follow, because we are so different in so many ways. And I think this difference is the true blessing. It's the true love from God to give an opportunity and path for every way you want to reach God or to reach truth. In Korea, Do means way, and there is, taekwondo, judo, and all the martial arts, and even some poetry and other kinds of arts. They end with do, which means it is a taekwondo way. It's the Ju way. So it means there are different ways, but the goal is, at least at the ancient times, is always the same: is self-realizations, inner strength, and the physical strength is just to make your inner strength even stronger, and in the end, realize who you truly are and the secrets of this universe that we are trying to figure out together here, right? What do you think about intuition? So, intuition, because there is, there is some misunderstanding about intuition, that sometimes people like have this misunderstanding that, okay, it is my intuition, this intuition came from me. But a lot of things that people call intuition is what I would call divine help, or downloading information from the universe. Or it's not that this information came from me. It came from something outside from me, actually. And it helped me have another kind of sense. It's like a receptor. So yes, it is nice to receive help and to be able to flow through things from ways that you didn't even imagine yourself. How does one deal with dark side? Dark side. So if you would ask Mahatma Gandhi, he would say that you deal with dark side with love. You cannot kill anger with anger. You cannot kill jealousy with more jealousy, or you cannot kill any negativity with counter negativity. You have to give love, give light. And I don't think dark side as something bad. I think it is just something that is part of our process. We are the ones who said that dark is bad. I think this constant balance and unbalance between dark and light. So there's some times that we are balanced, and then we lose balance. Sometimes we have more light, sometimes we have more dark, and then we gain balance again, and then we lose balance, and then we gain balance again. And this process of gaining and losing balance is what makes us evolve. It's like we're losing and gaining balance, losing and gaining balance, losing and gaining balance, but we are constantly going up. And it wouldn't be possible if there was only light or only dark, because there would be no imbalance and balance, and there no without unbalance and balance. I think it would be hard to have evolution. Can't seeing the same person in different places means that the two parties involved are on their divine path. In the same person in different places. Yes, I would say everyone is on their divine path, because everything is divine. The difference is if you're aware of your divine path or not. When you're not aware, it takes longer. You go around more, but you always end up there. But if you are aware, you might go faster. And synchronicity and things like that, and like things that are not probable, it starts to happen a lot when you are in a certain frequency. So if the two people who met are in high vibration, yes, it's a possibility that they both are in high vibration. That's why they met. Or it could be also like if the two people are in a very low vibration, it also could be the same. They met because they have similar vibrations. Good and bad is created by the creator himself, and it maintains its balance always. To get on your divine path, you have to fast from the world. You have to fast from the world. But what is the world? What do you call world, right? Einstein used to say, I don't know if it's Einstein, but I know someone used to say that there are 7 billion different worlds in this earth, one for each mind. For example, my world, my perspective of world is completely different from your perspective or even my sister's perspective, right? We have different conceptions, different visions. So in that sense, if you say to get to the divine path, you have to fast from the world, I would agree. But you have to know that the world is not something outside, but something you create inside. How can you meet your twin flames? Have you met yours? I have been single for a while, so I don't know. I don't think I have met, and I don't have any a lot of experience with twin flames and not a lot of knowledge as well. Also because I don't know, I think this topic didn't interested me so much until now, or maybe I will get interested later. So I cannot say anything. I wouldn't say much because I don't know much as well. To get on your divine path, why some people remain in life although I haven't put effort to keep them. Why some people remain in my life although I haven't put some effort to keep them. So it might be consequences from past actions, from this life or from previous lives. I cannot say for sure that that's a possibility. Another one might be that it's because it's a being that is really trying to help you, or higher beings are trying to help you through that person. That there can be a lot of interpretations. If you have fear, then you won't have to. If you have no fear, then you won't have to. So fear is not bad. Holding onto fear is bad. Feeling fear is not bad. It's normal. It helps us survive. But holding into that fear, that is bad. So I wouldn't say that not having fear is the solution, but learning how to let go of fear, I think it's more important, because we will feel fear until the last day of our lives. It's within our body. It's not something that we can run away from. But we have to learn to not hold into it and actually let it go. The word is social media, the economy, taxes, the daily. Oh yes. So the in this system that we are living, yes, it makes harder for us to think and act as one, right? Because everything is so individual. Our system doesn't compensate this when people act from the perspective of everyone being one. Sometimes these kind of actions can even be called stupid, but for us who know that we are all one, I think that shouldn't matter. What does it mean when particular animal is attracted to you? It means that you have a lovely energy. I always dream about meditating and getting into this peaceful state where even animals come close to me, but that never happened yet. Thanks, Danilo. Have you seen some entities that help us through life, like an actual imagery? The thought have a bird head. So I shouldn't. It is not so good to, when you have this kind of experience, is not so good to share. But I would say that I have received help I know I'm receiving help. Um, and I have met some teachers on dreams and other experiences as well. Yeah, so there are ways that they contact. What I always ask is to always, if I have to learn something, always to, so that the information comes in a way that I can understand, that it is not confusing for me, at least for me. So, and that is nice. God is he's very nice. He always teach me the way that I can understand, and sometimes this way is not the way that other people understand. So yeah, is guided meditation better than or normal meditation? If you can meditate in silence by yourself with your mind without any guidance, that is better than having a guided meditation, because in a guided meditation you still have this anchor. You cannot go, or at least it is harder to go to deeper states when you have to listen to someone. So yeah, what is the balance between belief and spirituality of day to day? So a lot of people say that some people are spiritual, some people are not, but from the perspective that everyone is spirit, who can say that someone experiences not a spiritual experience? Like for me, going and drinking a coffee, that's an spiritual experience, because I'm experiencing with my spirit through my body. So the difference, I would say, is that, so day-to-day life, everything is spiritual experience. The difference is that sometimes we are aware that these are spiritual experiences, and sometimes we are not aware. But just because you are not aware, it doesn't mean it is not. And what people call day-to-day life is when people that are not aware that these are spiritual experiences are interacting, right? But if you're aware that that's a spiritual experience, you can grow spiritually the same way that you would be growing in other places. Sometimes temples can help, sometimes other, like when you have a group, it helps. But day-to-day life, it's your spiritual experience. So it's even though other peoples are not aware, if you're aware, you can learn a lot from your day-to-day life, like spiritually grow. Hi Danilo, I have recently got a cat and he's very afraid of us, but when I enter the room I can feel a tingling going out of my back of my head, and it's weird. Any idea what is happening? Thanks. So the tingling, it's normal if you're feeling energy, and in the back of your head you have to see if the tingling is going down or up. Then you might know where is the energy flow. Sometimes it's something unblocking in that area, or sometimes it is just energy flowing. It could be your body energy circulating, or it could be you receiving energy from your seventh chakra. Maybe the cat is helping you unlock, I don't know. Yes. Is there such a thing as dark entity energy and wands without physical body, and can they take over physical body during sleep paralysis, plant medicine? So there are what people call dark entities, would be lower vibration entities, and I cannot say, I wouldn't say something is impossible. I wouldn't say anything is impossible, but I would say it's really hard for them to take over. It's really hard. You have to have a lot of mediunity. You have to have a lot of mediunity. Like you have to have your body and your energy have to be very compatible to receiving spirits overall. In that way, then it would be easier for spirits to come. But if you're not so compatible, if your mediunity is not so high, it would really be really hard. So I think it depends on each situation. But one thing is for sure, you have more power than any spirit. So there's nothing to be afraid of. And if you have a lot of mediunity where spirits come in you, then it means that you have even more power. So um, I would say it is possible, but it's not something that we cannot do anything about. We can always do something about, because your energy is more powerful. Alpha Draconians. So I'll answer one or two more questions, and I think this will be it for today. And yeah, do you know about the Alpha Draconians? No, first time hearing about it. I will research and see what I find out. So I guess this is it for our live stream today. I just hope that we could, each one of us could have gotten some energy or shared some energy. And even if I don't think the live stream is about, talking or about sharing knowledge, but for me it's more important about this energy field that we create together. And sometimes, even though someone comes in, hops in, stay for 2 minutes together, sometimes even in silence, and they just leave, you get a little bit of that energy. And I just hope that this space we created together can benefit a lot of people, especially us. So yeah. Isaiah, does our hair have any power? I believe so. But I don't have the knowledge. I believe they have, but I don't have knowledge about it. So it's just a belief, and I don't have any experience or any like any true knowledge. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Thank you.